Okay, well, thanks very much for joining us here today for session number 2 of the Social Media and Advanced Internet Marketing Training. Just going to see if I can advance my slide here. There we go. Great. So last time we talked about keywords, but today we're going to talk about backlinks. So fundamentally, a backlink is all about how people find you and communicate with you across the internet. So if this is your website here in the middle, a backlink would be someone maybe over here on a blog or a post where there's a blog or a post and there's a link in it from that blog or post back to your website. This might be a directory of all different websites, again, pointing back to your website. Over here might be some articles that are pointing back with a link in it to your website. That might be press releases over here. You might have comments on LinkedIn, Facebook, other social media, bookmarking sites, etc. And then all these could be other websites that are related that are just pointing back directly to your website. So the whole idea is if you're in the middle, you want everybody pointing at you saying how important you are and how critical you are to the world of the internet. So backlinks. It's important to have a backlink strategy because it will help you accomplish the following. It's really the key to implementing an effective and methodical social marketing strategy. It can help increase your website traffic because it raises the ranking in organic search engines. Again, organic being what happens to the user and appears natural rather than advertised presentations or advertised information. It can improve your search engine ranking position for commonly searched words. It's integral to your blogging and posting efforts and all those other things I just mentioned. And it really does ensure that you're a recognized authority in your keywords and what you want to be known for. So what we went over before, I'll just review it very briefly, is that Google is really the center of the universe. Google has a first page ranking is the goal for everyone in Google. Although many not outside of Google know the complete algorithm used to rank pages, there are some pieces of information that are quite useful for boosting your ranking. Another example beyond what we talked about last week is called backlinks. And we do know that backlinks work because they magically move people up the ranking. We talked about last time the fact that when a person is searching for a particular keyword, the Google bots help search what is written in the words on the page or written behind the pictures on the page, and the spiders almost create kind of a link and web to other things on the internet that are relevant to what you're all about. We use the example of in the market for brides-to-be, it's better to be specific and have specific pages for wedding rings versus wedding flowers because then Google gives you more credibility. And we talked about the fact that when the Google bots understand things, that you are rewarded. They look at your page or the cache of your page, the history of your page, and apply an algorithm or logic for ranking. Using that bot logic, they then give you the ranking on where you are on the internet and whether or not you made it to the first page. So now that you know what your keyword should be, which is what you took a look at last week, let's look at backlinks and what backlinks are. I can just get my mouse here. There we go. So we talked about how to optimize each page on your website and that keywords rule to drive traffic to your page and your website. Now we're going to talk about how backlinks can multiply the power of what you've already done. So the power of a keyword like infant health or something like that can become 10, 20, 30, 100 times stronger if you have other people pointing to your website and giving it more power. So last week's discussion was about on-site optimization, that Google is looking for the context of your content, making sure that whole page is talking about the same type of information. And it looks at the way it's organized. Do you have your keywords in your title, in your URL, in your picture, et cetera, et cetera. So we did that last time. This time we're going to be talking about what's called off-site optimization. Off-site optimization is where Google is looking for the relevance of your links, the links that are linking to you. And one secret is, of course, backlinks. That is infusing high-ranking pages, so other people's high-ranking pages, with a certain number of backlinks that lead site visitors back directly to your site. So that's kind of the goal. So how are backlinks involved? Let's first of all look at what they are. Well, the term hyperlink is kind of related, but hyperlink is usually used for the terminology of linking from one page to another page in your own website. A backlink links from one page in another website to a page in your website. There's some other terms that will be important to know. Backlinks to domain, or BLD, is links from another site or page to your home page. And backlinks to page is links from another site or page to a particular page on your website. So the goal is to have a backlink from a relevant other page, it doesn't matter if it's a domain page or a particular page, to your similarly related page. So again, we're looking for that relevance so that Google gives you lots of credit for it. So any questions about all of this so far? Nope. No? We're okay? Great. So with keywords, we talked about the fact that each page must be optimized for one keyword or keyword phrase, and then the Google bots will love you and they'll reward you. A backlink from a related page to your page gives your page more value, and therefore this translates into a higher ranking in Google. And we're going to show you how to do that. So let's first give some background and context. If you're ranking on page 1 in Google, the statistics show that 42% of visitors click on the #1 spot on Google search results. 12%, or 4 times less almost, click on the #2 spot, and 8.5% click on the #3 spot. This continually reduces all the way down to rank number 10 because there's always 10 websites profiled on the first page. So the difference can be as drastic as having 2 million clicks on the #1 position and only 147,000 clicks on the #10 position. By getting to #1, you basically increase your traffic for that keyword by 1,400%, but even jumping from #8 to #3 can triple your traffic. So huge, huge numbers, and basically it's telling us why we really, really, really want to get there. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to zoom up the Google ranking. Using the most advanced system has its merits, but so does going back to the basics, and that's what we're doing with backlinks. What we're going to be looking at here is that whatever the site's theme or content is, it pays to know where to inject your links, leading the visitors from other sites and leading the Google bots to your site. Preferably is you're going to do that from high-ranking pages or sites. Backlinks, as I said, are incoming links from web navigation to page rank determination. So really, the more backlinks you have, the higher it raises you up there. So what we're looking at is backlinks are either links to a website or a web page, as I mentioned. Originally, inbound links were important prior to the emergence of search engines. They were a primary means of web navigation, so basically telling people where to go. Today, they're really, really significant in search engine optimization. The number of backlinks is one indication of the popularity or importance of that website or page. And actually, Google has a terminology called PageRank, and it uses the backlink specifically to give you your page rank. Outside of search engine optimization, the backlinks of a web page may be significant for personal reasons, cultural, or semantic interest, and they indicate really who is paying attention to that page. They're all, in basic link terminology, a backlink is any link received by a web node, so maybe a page, a directory, a website, or a top-level domain from another web node. Backlinks are also known as incoming links, inbound links, inlinks, and inward links. But typically people use the term backlinks. Okay, so search engines often use the number of backlinks that a website has as one of the most important factors for determining that website's search engine ranking, popularity, and importance. Google's description of their PageRank system, for instance, it notes that Google interprets a link from page A to page B as a vote. By page A, so you're voting, page A is voting for page B. Knowledge of this form of search engine rankings has fueled a portion of the SEO industry commonly termed link spam, So we don't want to get into link spamming, but this is where a company attempts to place as many inbound links as possible to their site regardless of the context of the originating site. And that's why really Google is now looking more at relevance rather than just number of links. There are several factors that determine the value of a backlink. Oh, sorry, there's my spam comment. Content must be relevant. So the value of a backlink is enhanced when you come from authoritative sites on a given topic are considered to be highly valuable. If both sites have content geared toward the keyword topic, the backlink is considered relevant and believed to have strong influence on the search engine rankings of the web page that have been granted the backlink. Excuse me. A backlink represents a favorable kind of editorial vote for the receiving web page from another granting web page. Another important factor is what's called the anchor text of the backlink. So it's that little terminology that looks like a keyword that's when you mouse over it, it kind of highlights it, and it usually looks underlined. So anchor text is the descriptive labeling of the hyperlink as it appears on a web page. So you may actually have the full website address behind the link, but whatever shows up on the web page, if it's the keywords, then you're given more credit for that. The search engine bots, the spiders, the crawlers, etc., they examine the anchor text to evaluate how relevant it is to the content on a web page. Anchor text and web page content congruency are highly weighted in the search engine results page rankings for a web page with respect to any given keyword query by a search engine user. And then lastly, increasingly inbound links are being weighed against link popularity and originating context. So this transition is reducing the notion of what previously existed was one link got one vote in search engine optimization, but now if the starting website is more popular, it gives more credibility to the receiving website on the other end. And this is really to help curb that link spam, which I mentioned before. It should also be noted that, oops, just going to go back one, that building too many backlinks over a short period of time can get a website's ranking penalized, and in extreme cases, the website is then de-indexed altogether. Anything above a couple hundred a day is considered dangerous, and that's why when people consider using backlink suppliers who will say they'll get you, 10,000 backlinks in 10 days, you actually want to try to avoid those because you'll get in trouble for doing things like that. So to kind of summarize this point, backlinking is the process of putting a link to your website on other websites. It tells the search engines that your site contains quality information because the other websites are linking back to it. The best places to backlink are on websites that are relevant to the topic of your site. So for example, it would be better to create a backlink for a dog training website on another website that focuses on dog training. You can use Google search to locate industry-related blogs and leave a comment for a highly relevant and powerful backlink back to your website. Additionally, you can offer to write a guest post on an industry-related blog in exchange for a backlink to your website within the post.
So you actually have to contact whoever's running the other website in order to get your backlink on their page.
If they only allow posts that are authorized by them, so for instance, some government websites, they might have like a news section, and you might be able to write a little mini article that could be put into their news section with a backlink to your website. Then you have to contact them. But a lot of websites have blogs or have forums, and in a blog or a forum, you just join their blog or forum, and then as long as you're writing something that's decent and not obnoxious or not spam, then they'll usually accept your blog post, and within that blog post, you can put a link back to your website, and I'll show you how to do that later. Okay. Sorry?
So it's more blog-based on websites that have open forums for communication, as opposed to having your website link embedded in somebody else's website page.
Well, there's kind of, actually, let me just skip to the next slide. Because there's,
Sorry.
no, it's okay, it's great, it's great, you're a good setup person. So really, you can get a backlink. What you're asking me right here is related sites. So you're saying, do I have to call up a related site and ask them to put an article on? Well, that is one of the solutions. You can also go into directories, and I'll cover all these in the rest of the session, but you can go into something called a web directory. You can write an online article and post it in many things across the internet. You can do a press release and have a link back to your website. You can do a blog post or forum. You can go to social bookmarking sites, or you can go to social network profiles. And I'll go through all those. So really, in the end, what you do is you choose based upon your area of expertise and say, you know, well, I really don't have any good content, so I'm not going to write articles. I'm just going to do blog posts, and because there's so much happening in my area every single day that there's something new to say every day. Or conversely, maybe you don't have much new to say every day and you decide to do articles instead. So all of these are, in the end, strategic choices. We won't go through all of them in depth today because some of them will be for future full-length sessions, but I'll give you a highlight of all of these. And what you'll walk away today with is you'll be ready to start posting and be ready to put some stuff on directories. So those are the two that we'll walk away with assignments for today. Okay? Okay, so how to get backlinks. I'm going to, again, go over this in general first, and then I'll take you through some specific examples as we get into the detail. So to get backlinks to your website, it's a crucial factor, as I said, for effective search engine optimization. If you don't have enough quality backlinks to your website, it is impossible to have higher ranking and more traffic to your website. As I go through this list, you'll find some techniques to get backlinks, and that we'll describe here, and then we'll describe further as we move on. Okay, so the first one, blogs and forums and community sites. So blogs are a simple way to get backlinks, and the way there is to comment on someone else's blog. What you do is you add the URL of your site by posting comments on blogs, and after a little time, when you post the blog comment and your URL, you'll have a number of many good backlinks to your site. However, if you're going to use this strategy, again, you have to make sure you're not a spammer. You need to make sure your comments are useful and relevant. So we always recommend you read the blog post, you write something that's relevant to it, and you add to the conversation. So some people will say, oh, great blog post, and then put a link to their website, and then eventually people say, well, you're not adding any value to my website, and they'll either delete your post or they will block you from even posting in the future. When you look at link building via forums, posting in forums is also an easy method to get backlinks. However, there you don't add your URL straight into the forums, or you might be banned and removed from the forum. Sorry, I'm a little bit ahead of myself there. Put the URL of your website in your signature, and then when you post a comment in the forum, you leave a link to your site with your post. I think I want to be on the next page. Nope, I was wrong. Sorry, I'm going to go back. Okay. So I'll tell you all these details again later too. So put the URL of your website in your signature for a forum, and then when you post a comment in the forum, you leave a link to your site with your post. It's really an easy and trusted way to get backlinks, but the submitted content, again, must be useful.
And then Google picks up the URL track in the signature in the post?
Yes.
Bots or whatever?
Yeah. So although the reader might not see your URL, if the reader clicks on that link, that backlink, that thing that shows up, then it'll go right to your website. But either way, even if no one reads it and no one goes to your website, the Google bots will read it.
Right.
Okay? Yep. On social networks, you can get backlinks via social networks. So based upon the development of Web 2.0, social networking sites such as, of course, MySpace, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., they become kind of the hotspots of the internet today. As we all know, millions of people visit these sites day by day to make friends or to advertise their products or services. We'll come back to this at another point in time, but eventually you should be registered on those sites and post links with the comments you make. This way you can build many strong backlinks. Right now we all know that Facebook is the most powerful website nowadays after Google, but we'll do a separate Facebook session another time. Social bookmarking. Social bookmarking is an additional possibility where you can get backlinks. Bookmark sites such as Delicious, Jump Tags, Stumble Upon, and many others. And if your site is useful or interesting enough, users will add your site to their favorite list, and that means numerous backlinks for you. Personally, this backlink building method is really, really one of my favorites. Publishing articles. Okay, you can write articles on different topics and publish them on article sites such as eZine Articles and Articles Base, and put your URL of your site in the resource box. If your article is informative and fascinating, after some time it will be published on many other sites and newsletters. This way you will have a large number of backlinks pointing to your site. On top of that, Google loves these links, so it is crucial to build backlinks via article publishing as well, and press releases, which are very similar to each other, really. Link exchange. Link exchange, this is a very old way to get backlinks and traffic, but link exchange is still an important link building technique. The one thing is really with link exchange, you want to do what you asked me about before, which is you want a person to link to you, but you don't really want to link back to them. Because if Google sees a link going both ways to each site, they actually discount it and give you 0 credit. So when you're getting a link, you want quality and relevant sites, and again, that means higher ranking and more traffic and things like that. You can also do submissions to search engines and directories, and again, I'll get into that a little bit more later. And really, overall, you're looking to get high page rank places. So if a directory gets a lot of traffic versus if a social network site gets a lot of traffic, you want to go where the most traffic is that is the most relevant to you. So it's kind of like a trade-off analysis that you have to do to figure out how you're going to get the best of both worlds. Because really, as I said before, search engine optimizers learned a while ago that Google's ranking algorithm depended in part on a link weighting scheme called PageRank. And rather than simply count all inbound links equally, the PageRank algorithm determines that some links may be more valuable than others and therefore assigns them more weight than others. Okay, so any questions so far? And then I'm going to get into specifics on a number of these areas.
Nope.
Okay, so we're going to first look at directories. Okay, so an internet directory specializes in linking to other sites and categorizing those links. Directories often allow site owners to directly submit their ideas for inclusion, and many directories have editors review submissions for fitness. So either direct submission or editorial review. An example of one of them is a free directory.info, and I'm just going to go to that one now. So here it is. As I said, this is a free directory.info. If we look down here at health, you can see that there's 20 categories in health. And if I click on health, the question would be, is what I'm interested in talking about in any of these categories? So am I talking about alternative medicine, conditions or diseases, pharmacy? There's actually 0 people in there, women's health, etc. So let's say we were looking at women's health as an example. Here it talks about female libido. I don't think that's too relevant to kind of what you might be looking at. And I actually don't see too many places here, but it is free. One of the things when I was looking at this one is that they only have 235 active links, and they have over 56,871 pending links. So it kind of made me think, I wonder if they're actually, like why that would be happening. So I went before to advanced search, and I wanted to search for newborn. And there's one thing here, newborn baby gift baskets. So again, you'd have to think, do I want to be related to this? Is this content that's related to what I'm doing? There was a spot. Oh, when you go to submit here, what you can see right away is that if you have a featured link, it costs you $19.99 per year. If you want a regular link, it's free, or if you want a regular link with reciprocal, which you would never really want that, it's also free. So I don't really know this directory very well, but I would imagine that the the 235 active links probably paid to get on there, the $19.99, and the pending ones probably asked for it to be free. That would be what I would imagine. I don't really know that for a fact, but it'd be interesting to try it out and find it. That just gives you one example of how these sort of directories work. So I'm going to go back over here. Oops. Okay, so we looked at that one. For SEO purposes, these directories are a good way to obtain one-way links and make your rankings grow. Getting listed in internet directories in the categories that suit you, and what you'll see is you'll see an increase in your traffic, but you also get a lot of one-way inbound links. The two really big directories that everyone wants to be in are Yahoo and DMOZ, or Open Directory Project. They're both powerful in bringing you traffic and valuable links. Yahoo requires an annual submission fee, while DMOZ is free. If you're listed in these two, search engines will then look at you with particular respect, partly because all members here are handpicked. You suggest your website for inclusion, and real people look at it and decide to add or not to add you. So let's just take another quick look at these two. So here's the Yahoo page that you go to. So Yahoo Directory Submit puts you at the head of the line. You're going to have to pay for this one. It's not all that much money. You submit it here, how to request a listing, et cetera, et cetera. And then the other website, it's more like an open source thing, and you have to decide, what languages, and you just kind of go through all the various steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, et cetera, and get them to consider you from that perspective. So I just wanted to give you a quick glance of what they look like there. Okay, so after you suggest your URL, it'll get reviewed, as I said, by real people. And these directories always consider the inclusion of a site, but they might not accept you. So some directories might ask you to put a link to them in exchange. However, there are also numerous directories that will accept your website without payment or a link back. All you have to do is kind of find the ones that accept free submissions, and you will get your one-way inbound links. So let me give you an example of some other ones you might want to look at. So these are all other directories that I found on the internet that you might want to take a look at, along with their page rank. So the higher the page rank, if you are in their directory, the more value they will give back to your website. There's hundreds of thousands of directories on the internet, so starting with a list like this could be really helpful. These page ranks, though, will change over time as these directories become more or less popular. This was just kind of like at one point in time what their page rankings looked like. Okay. Other places to look would be this site here, linkassistant.com, and you can always find more. If you just type into Google the term submit URL, you'll find some other link directories that you could also consider. And again, you're looking for relevance, you're looking for ones that get high traffic and therefore high page ranking. So just to kind of summarize this, relevant links count the best. That's really important for links. Firstly, choose suitable directories where to add your site, and don't even waste a second on irrelevant ones, because there's thousands of them out there. So for instance, if you're selling tires, then you really wouldn't want a link from a photography directory. Better to seek links from a special directory for automobiles if you were selling tires, as an example. Also choose in which category to put your link. For example, even if the whole directory is for cars and vehicles, it's wise to put your link into the category tires or trailer tires rather than, say, car wash or something like that. Okay. So just before I move on, any question about directories?
No.
Okay. So in regards to forums and blogs, really Google really likes blogs and forums, and part of the reason for that is the content changes so readily, and there's lots of value in the content, and Google likes anything that's fresh and updated because it figures that there's important information going on here and things are really relevant. So I kind of mentioned this a bit before, but when you're looking at a forum, find the ones with a topic close to your site and join discussions there. How do you get a link? Well, it's pretty easy. Most often in forums, you can put a text link to your site into your signature. And again, I'll show you how to do the text link later, but in forums, you do it in your signature. In blogs, you link your name back to the site. So you specify your name and your URL, and this transforms into a link to your site with the name as the anchor. So you can do names in blogs, but I'll also show you a way to do keywords in blogs too, because sometimes they won't allow one or the other, so you kind of need to know both. And even though many forums and blogs attach a note, I think I put it in here, some sites have a no follow attribute. So remember last time we went to the we viewed the source code of a website? Well, if you look at the source code of any particular blog or site, if they have this terminology right here, REL equals quotes, no follow quotes, it means that the link that Google bots will see has been disabled. So a human being will still be able to follow the link back from that website to your website, but it means the Google bots won't be able to follow it. So you really don't want to be putting a blog or a forum post on a website that has this no follow attribute. You really want to make sure that that's not included in the source code of that page. Visitors can still check back, so it'll still help you with traffic, but it won't help you from a Google perspective getting higher ranking. Okay, if you're a frequent guest at any forum, you really need to kind of make sure that the post makes sense. So for instance, if you were posting or looking at a forum about the new iPhone and its warranties from Apple, and someone made a posting that said, get used cell phones cheaply with a link, you're not really going to be interested in used phones. So you really need to kind of be careful not to annoy people with your advertising and links. You may not only earn the reputation of kind of like a spammer, but the forum or the blog administration may kick you out for violating the rules. So really do not write just for the purpose of the subscription link, which is what some people do. You really need to participate in the discussions, post helpful comments and meaningful content, and if you think you can't answer other people's questions, then just kind of ask your own questions. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do what's called anchor text. What you do is you put in to your blog post, and I'll actually take you to an example, all of this, all these typewritten symbols. So you find this symbol on your keyboard. I know on my keyboard it's above the comma, and this other one is above the period. So you put in this less than sign, the letter A, then you leave a space. So this is basically called HTML code. You put in REF, then the equal sign, then you put some quotes, and then you put your destination link, basically the full URL reference, and then you put in the greater than sign, so you kind of close this, so this is like opening it and this is closing it. You put in your keywords, and then you put in the less than with a slash, an A, and a greater than sign. So an example, if I wanted someone to link back to my website, it would be less than A space ref equals, and then this is my website page, and I'm actually going to take you to one of my pages, and then I close it, and my keywords are going to be health communication, and the keyword should match what's on that page in the URL, and then you close it up. So let me take you over here and show you. Okay, so here I'm on this page here, my website. It's the Communications tab, and the title for this page is called Health Communication, and in my URL it says Health Communication. So I could just back-click and copy that and use it, or I could retype it, but it's always safer to back-click and copy it. So I'm going to go here to my blog. So this is my blog, and I'm going to go to a page on Twitter Analytics that I've written. This is a blog post that I have written. Oops. Okay. And I'm just going to go down here. And at the bottom of this blog post, oops, I went to the website page, not the blog post. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's my blog post, Twitter Analytics. At the bottom of this blog post is a spot to leave comments. So if I had not put my name in yet, I would put my name in. I would also put my email in, so your full email address in. And then put my, I just put my normal full website address, so I'm not using anything special here. I'm just putting my normal full website address. And then oftentimes you have to use a CAPTCHA. So I'm just going to put in that there. And now I'm going to write some copy. Now I actually pre-wrote the copy, so I'm going to just get it from here. Okay, so I'm just going to change this a little bit. So the best Twitter analysis can occur when and I want to use the word health communication. So it's almost like as if starting right here, the thought is to replace the word health communication. So the best Twitter analysis can occur when the health communication plan, so now I'm down here, is put in place first. So what I've done is I've put in all that coding I just mentioned before, so that all the way down to here. And you can see I'm backlinking to this page, and my keywords that I want to show up are health communication. So I'm going to submit that comment, and my blog, the moderator has to approve the post, but you can see the best Twitter analysis can occur when the health communication plan is put in place first. So this will, after I release it from moderation, this will link right back to that page, but you can see you don't see all that HTML code, you just see the words and with it as a link back to that site.
How did you, I mean, I guess, did you learn how to write that specifically, writing the HTML code, or?
Yeah, and I've given it to you right here on this site here. So if you have your website, so you just replace your website with my website and also your specific page. And then you just put in the keywords that you want to highlight in the text, which hopefully are the same keywords that you have right here.
Right.
And then when you submit it, it turns into the code that you just, or the copy that you just saw, and it creates a hyperlink back to it.
Got it.
Okay, so that's a really cool way of getting hyperlink within the text of your copy. So any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. Great. So the other thing that you can also do is you can get bloggers to write about you. It's a relatively new world in the area of website promotion, getting the attention of bloggers and getting them to link to you. It's really amazing how influential some bloggers are. And you can find new blogs that have good traffic and rank well and then tell them about your product or service. But what if a good blogger writes a story about you and puts in some links? Then you'd get tons of people to read it. It would definitely add up to increased traffic and potentially sales. But now there's actually services where you can pay and order a review of your product or service that will be placed in that person's blog, thus giving you the links and the traffic. In fact, not only the bloggers, their surveys will be helpful, or what they write, but the reviews from the sites and experts specializing in your niche can add popularity, kind of like credibility and popularity to you that you'd kind of never expect. So what I've done here is kind of listed some examples of web sources where you can order a review. And what I've done is I've pulled up an example of the first one called Review Me, and we'll just go through it real quick here. Right there. Okay, so this is the Review Me site. I've already pre-registered. You have to sign up and give your name and all that other kind of stuff. And then I asked it to do a search on newborn. So it has one site called The Life of a Mom. It talks about the daily life of a stay-at-home mom, wife, and mother to 4 children. The oldest is 10. 50% of the review requests that this site gets are accepted, and the price to have a review written for you is $50. So of course this site here, Review Me, gets a commission, and that person, gets part of that money. So if we did another search instead, let me do infant health. This one is a lot more popular and a lot more traffic. And what you can hear is there's 24 pages of potential sites you could go to. The first one listed here costs $200, and 91% of the reviews are accepted. So when you're asked, when you ask, can you do a blog review for me, 91% of the time they accept. So right now it's ranked by acceptance. You could also change it and have it ranked by price. And then you could click which one you want to buy, and then you send them the information, et cetera, et cetera. What you do here is you would click on this site. You click on any reviewer to see more information about them, and after that choose the one whose service you want to use. And kind of it's pretty straightforward. If you want to be more narrow in what you choose a more broad word. If you want to, or a more narrow word, if you want to be more broad, then you choose a more broad word from that perspective. So any questions about that?
So essentially, instead of, you're just sort of researching which blogs are ranked the highest, and then basically paying for view or backlink to be put on in their blog. Right.
So when you asked before about whether or not you have to call everyone, this is kind of a way to not have to call them. You just have to pay them. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to move on to social media.
Yeah.
Social media is, again, there's lots of different sites that you can look at here. There's some places that are just all about sharing content and ideas with lots and lots of people. So it can be, some of them can be about writing. So for instance, blogs like Technorati, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. You can share pictures on something like Flickr. You can share videos on something like YouTube, or you can do all-in-one in something like MySpace. We all know that Facebook has become the place to go. And of course, from a business perspective, let's say if you wanted to reach out to physicians, you could go to something like LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. But there's thousands and thousands of them on the web. Some specialize in a particular niche. Some aren't devoted to any topic in particular, but work kind of like people accumulators. The essence of any of them is that they see streams of people coming each day, and these people are hungry for information, theoretically. They're waiting for stories or something interesting to happen, and you can tell them your story and see if someone picks it up. And what you see then is the links that you'd never get with your own hands, so to speak. So let me just... Okay, now I'm going to stick on this one for a minute still. Good examples are, Facebook, of course, and MySpace. They're huge social networks uniting people for thousands of reasons. Here you can create your own profile and not just find friends. You'll join communities, write your own blog, and attract readers to it and to your site through it. Today, some social networks have huge traffic, and if you're popular there, your site can benefit a lot thanks to these resources. If we look at social bookmarking sites, which are a little bit different, here you can bookmark web pages and share your bookmarks with other people. All bookmarks really work like links, and the more bookmarks your site has, the better you profit. Here the sources are things like Delicious, Dig, I'm not even sure how to say this one, Reddit, StumbleUpon, Magnolia, and there's dozens and dozens more. These are a big help in spreading your news like a virus, so to speak, and a good place for your news. Some links you set up right there may have tons of SEO benefit, plus they drive more people to see your site and its content, encouraging them to pass on your news so they can generate huge traffic and thousands of links without much effort on your part. The one I mentioned before, I'll just go back to it for a second, is Technorati. or Technorati. If you've got a blog, this is a good resource for you. It's a kind of a search engine and directory for blogs. And if you're a member, you can claim your blog to Technorati, and people from around the web will see what you've written. And this way you can easily let other people pick the story and link to you. So again, a great way to kind of get your message out there really, really widely. I'm going to go back to here. This one here called Noam is one that I thought would be interesting to show. This website here is, it lists 550 popular social networks, and what you can do in this website is it kind of regularly looks through and sees which social networking sites are getting the most traffic and which ones are most popular. And what you can also do in this one is you can own your name or own your domain name. So you go in here and you create a profile and you say, my name is Madonna, as an example, and see which websites Madonna already, or which social already is registered in, and whether she's claimed her name or whether you can kind of steal it from her. Well, you don't really want to steal hers, you just want to own your own. Within here, and I think it's in the community section. Let me just see. No, I think it's networks. Yeah, you can go in here and you can look by subject. So what are the most popular blogging sites? What are the most popular bookmarking sites, business sites? If we look at the most popular health sites, you can then decide whether or not you want to get hooked into all these different sites here. So there's, as I said, there's more than 550 sites where you can kind of register your personal name or your company name and then start to move your traffic through these and move your posts and get links from these back to your website. So this is a great place to find places to link back from and to kind of register yourself. And I don't know if I recognize the names of any of these health websites because most of the really popular ones, of course, are more general and generic, like Facebook and things like that. Okay.
Is that a global website? Is it based out of North America or United States, Canada?
Noam is based out of the U.S., and you can actually submit your name and profile to them, and they'll do all the submissions for you if you like. That was, I'll just go back there for a second, but that was, where is it? Here's, if we go back here, check username. Down here, if you want to pay a little money, they have individual plans, business plans, corporate plans, where you can give them your photos, your bio, your URL, and description, and they will, in this case, sign you up on 100 social media websites. They do it all for you, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, they're looking at the popularity of the sites around the world. Mm-hmm. So this is a way to kind of get things done quickly if you have the money and you don't have the time. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so one thing, as I mentioned kind of before, is we want to avoid link exchange. There are many programs which offer to barter your links for you. The principle is kind of simple. You put a link to a site, they put a backlink to your site. There are a couple important things to consider with link exchange programs. First, take care about the ratio between outbound and inbound links. If your outbound links are more than your inbound links, this is not good. Second, and more important, is the risk that your link exchange partners, so the people you hire to do that for you, are actually what are called link farms. If this is the case, you could even be banned from search engines, so it's really kind of risky to indulge in link exchange programs. Linking to suspicious places is something else that you must avoid, and if you're giving the work to someone else, you don't necessarily know where you're getting the links from. While it's true that search engines do not punish you if you have backlinks from such places, because you're supposed to have no control over what the bad guys link to. If you enter a link exchange program with the so-called bad neighbors and you link to them, this can also be disastrous to your SEO efforts. The other thing is also getting tons of links in a short period of time because it kind of looks suspicious and it looks artificial, and you'll get penalized for that type of work too. Okay, so the most powerful links that exist out there on the internet, sorry there's a lot of copy on this, but are really .government, so government websites, so .gov, or education websites, .edu. So what you really want to do, if you can, is you want to find .edu and .gov websites or blogs, and you want to post on them. So one way to do that is use what are called Google strings to find links that work and that are available to you. You could manually search what comes back from a Google look, but we'll look at another way to do it as well. So how you do this is you put in a particular code into Google. So you go to Google search and you put in this code here. So let's say I was looking for websites where I could post things on article marketing. I would put in article marketing into the Google search engine, type the words in URL :blog space site :.edu. Or if I was looking for make money online. However, then what I would have to do is I would have to look through all the sites and see which ones will take my backlinks and which ones do not have that no-follow code. So a better way to do this is to have a longer bit of code which basically says, here's my keyword, here's I want to look for all sites that are .edu, and I want to look for all the blogs that I can find where I can leave a comment, but I want to subtract out the ones where the comments are closed. I want to subtract out the ones where you must be logged in, and I want to subtract out where comments are closed. So this is just comments closed and this is comments are closed. So once you go to those websites, then you would probably get backlinks from those .edu or .government sites in, let's say, 15 to 20 days. If you're looking for .gov sites, then you just replace .edu right here with .gov instead. So I think I created an example for you over here. Yeah. So I put in newborn, the sites, I'm looking for .edu sites, and it was leave a comment minus this, minus this, minus this, and then I searched it. And what I came up with there's 38 results or 38 blogs where I can leave a comment, the comments aren't closed, et cetera, and I don't have to log in. Now, having to log in isn't the worst thing, so I would actually remove that piece later on because you'll get more site choices, but just to be as narrow as possible. Here, 38 results came up. And if I go to this one that I went to before, this is this person talking about babies and children and how they play and how they use their hands, et cetera, et cetera. So you'd kind of say, well, is there anything that I could say about newborns and posting a comment? So you would go down here, and here he says, if you want, your email is never published nor shared. And you have to put in your name, your email, and your comments. And we can confirm that you'll get shown is, it says you may use these HTML tags. So you can use your title, you can use all these things. So all these things tell us that this site is not going to block our post. He may moderate it to make sure it's good, but he's not going to block our post. Now if I go back there for just a second, and instead of newborn, if I put in, what did I decide to put in here? I think I was going to try for infant health again. Infant health. No, that's too narrow. I think it was just infant I tried before. Yeah, so in this case, blogs related to just infants, I got 75 results. If I do subtract out this thing here that you must be logged in, let's see what this does, if anything. It didn't really change the results at all, so it didn't really matter. But so that's really a super trick for finding high quality one-way backlinks that you can create by putting posts in those other people's sites that you can kind of put into action right away, basically. You can use that, as I said, for .edu sites or .gov sites, and therefore really accelerate your work and your efforts from that perspective. So let's just go back here to the PowerPoint. So everything I talked about today is considered an off-site optimization strategy by using backlinks. In some of the future sessions, I'm going to get more into things like article marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought really for this week's homework, you could kind of try to submit yourself to just 2 directories at minimum. Kind of refresh yourself on all this stuff. And then you could find blogs to post on. You could find 1, you could find 2, you could find 20, doesn't really matter. But just try posting 5 comments and then see if your comments, a day or 2 later, if your comments are still there, if they got accepted, if your backlinks work, and things like that. So I thought that would be, kind of pretty simple and straightforward and just kind of get you started from that perspective.
I just have to check to make sure that that's okay.
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
But, all that, which I'm sure is fine,
yeah.
that I can do.
Yeah, and it may just be even, really appreciate your information above, thought you might be interested in seeing, more information about newborn screening at this website.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be a lot of information. The better the information, the more it'll stay. But yeah, you absolutely should make sure your organization approves the copy that you're going to be posting out there.
Mm-hmm.
So just to summarize, off-site optimization raises your page rank. This moves you up in the Google ranking. And the relevance and the backlinks are kind of key to your success in this area. Oops, why did that go like that? Sorry. Keywords and linkages, and keyword linkages and the content similarity are very important in the ranking. And next time what we're going to look at is newsletters, so we can look at driving people to your online content from that perspective.
Cool.
So any other questions that you have?
No, that's great.
And were you able to get through everything from last week okay? Did you have any questions from last week?
Nope. I sent you an email this morning. Did you get it?
I don't think so, but I'll look as soon as I get off.
Oh, I sent you the sort of research that I did about our keywords and a sort of brainstorming session. Let me see.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I'll take a look for it, and if I don't see it, I'll just send you a quick email just so that I can take a look at it once you send it through.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I sent it around, I don't know, sometime this morning. It says that it's sent, but if not, then I'll send you another copy.
Okay, sounds great.